So I'm going live with this story right now, but I'm gonna repost it as a video too. It's called the Northwest Timber Country Nightmare. I made it into a story form just in case somebody found it where I was at because I do write now. I write books. I'm about to be a published author actually, and the problem is that if I don't write it like this, if I didn't write it like this, they would have thought it wasn't a story, and they would have thought I was trying to write something, a message to somebody or something like that, and then they would have made sure nobody got to see it. So I had to make sure I put it in story form so that nobody messed it up. So um, here it is, and it reads Night Rides, and it's just written however it's got to be written because the information had to get out as fast as it could because this was one of those nights that I was getting it was a lot of stuff happening to me. I was getting poked. People running up on my car. It was just a bunch of different stuff that was happening. So sometimes I have to talk in kind of like in circles it seems like, or talk and just bounce around. But I have to do that because there's stuff going on. Anyway, here let me see if I can. Yeah, I have to read it like this. Fuck it. And it reads Night Rides, a signature terror tactic used and invented by domestic terror group KKK, has recently resurfaced in little known. Let me make sure you guys are getting it and I can read it off the paper instead. Recently resurfaced in little known counties in the Northwest, Calais County in Washington and neighboring Columbia County in Oregon. The cities of confirmed hate-based criminal activity are Olive, Longview, Kelso, Castle Rock, Willamette, Kalama, Woodland, La Center, Lexington, Vancouver, Washington, Rainier. Those are all Washington, and then Rainier, St. Helens, Deer Island, Claskenite, Oregon. The majority of the drivers of all types of vehicles, business, corporate, and civilian, are Caucasian 9 times out of 10, but Hispanics, Asian, Pacific Islanders, African American, Russians, Native Americans, East Indians have all been recruited and used in the commission of night riding and of rousing of at least one man of African and British descent across the state lines of Washington and Oregon on too numerous of occasions to count, but approximately 40 times. The man was called Monkey, Filthy Dead Nigger, Ape, Darky, followed daily for close to a year or more, but followed every day for months at a time, sent death threats, denied assistance when facing a life or death experience after falling into a Lake Sacagawea in 2017. The man also was systematically and consistently poked, prodded, and injected with various substances, heroin, cocaine, and methamphetamine by IV needles while attempting to sleep in his domicile, which was right there at 1839 Nichols Boulevard. That's Lake Sacagawea right there. You can kind of see it, but yeah, it's right across the street from Kessler. That's the lake. And then there was a truck over. There was a truck over like this. Let me see if I can get pointed on camera. Oh, anyway. Oh, there we go. There's a truck like over there, and I fell in like down that way. And there was a truck that pointed a light. It pointed a light into the water. They knew I was in there, and the motherfuckers didn't do. They didn't call the hospital across the street or nothing. I sat in that lake for like 3 hours, man. Damn near, I had hypothermia, damn near, and almost didn't make it, man. Hit my head on the log, was woozy, almost drowned, and nobody called and got me help or nothing, man. And then they continued to do what they was doing to me. I was sick for like 2 weeks from the bacteria and shit that was in the water, and they kept prodding me and poking me and doing all kind of shit, man. Anyway, so let's go back. Um, while attempting to sleep in his domicile, then led to believe through electronic devices that if he ever said anything to law enforcement or anyone or went inside of the ER, Peace Health, Longview, Washington, which is over that way, over there. But they're not all bad in there, just some of them. And they're doing my surgery tomorrow, which I'll keep you guys updated on because I'm getting my surgery for my labrum, my second surgery on my labrum again. Um, and or okay, that if he ever said anything to law enforcement or went inside of the ER or to his family or anybody, if he ever went inside of Peace Health ER right across the street from where he lived at to get medical treatment for what was happening to his body, sustaining whatever kind of injuries he was sustaining during his sleep, um, that he would be killed. The man had over Oh, the man had over 10 electronic devices compromised, and actually more subsequently. Um, uh, Used to steal, and the when they were taking those electronic devices over, it was used to steal highly sensitive personal identification information, intellectual property from my companies I had set up, a bank account and credit information, unauthorized access to and withdrawal from bank accounts, credit cards, and debit cards. Harassed and discriminated against by Columbia County sheriffs. It was really only one. The rest of them I met, they were really, actually, really respectful, and they treated me fairly. And when there was a situation that was going on, somebody tried to fucking call them and tell them that I was jacking off in a bush the day previously, but I was at a motel on camera the whole day with my family and them enjoying ourselves with some friend that was staying there. I wasn't even around. So this is the kind of shit they've been doing, you know. And then then the woman, you know, decided to tell me she was gonna shoot me in my head. I'm a fucking dead nigger, and she was gonna bury me in the sand over at uh Dibbles Beach or Dibbles Point or wherever the fuck that is, Dibley's in Rainier. Um, that that she was gonna bury me where nobody would find me. So this is the kind of shit. So that you know they try to turn me into a pedophile, a rapist, you know, anything they can say about a person of a darker complexion that they've been saying throughout history. They've tried to use it and do it, and it's been systematic, man. But let me get back to it. Bank accounts, credit cards, debit cards, harassed and discriminated against by Columbia County Sheriff, which that was only one. So actually, the rest of them are actually pretty decent that I met. Harassed by Longview Police Department, definitely, and dismissed by Officer Henley. Not only him, but Officer Bagman. I think his name is Bagman or something like that. Let me see. I got his shit written down somewhere. Officer, um, Officer. What the fuck? Where did I write that down there? Oh, I was so pissed at his punk ass, man. That motherfucker gonna talk to me like I'm some kind of bitch. Oh, here it is, right here. Uh, Event number LV1802458. Event number, yeah, and then his name is Bestman. Bestman out here in Longview. Anyway, this fool, he's just part of the problem out here. Longview police don't do shit. They don't care about shit. They're taking they swore an oath to take fucking bribes and be fucking pimped out. You know what I'm saying? And become prostitutes, man, for the community. Whoever got the most money in the community. So fuck them. They ain't shit but a bunch of bitches. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Dismissed by Officer Henley when I told him about the night rides of terror at night against people of color and anybody that's up against these people. Harassed and called nigger while attending the class at Lower Columbia College, which is a civil rights case I already got against them that they just admitted to they voluntarily admitted to accepting new rules, which you don't do unless you're in trouble. So they did that, and I got that on their ass. So I got to find a civil attorney, which I couldn't find out here. Nobody wanted to represent me in this civil case that's worth a lot. It's going to be worth a lot because of the simple fact that they broke United States Constitution. Like, you can't do that. You can't deny somebody of color access to a college that they're already a student at. Like, so anyway, I've been going through all this kind of shit. So let me get back to this real quick before I discuss some other things real quick. Let me see. While attending a class at Lower Columbia College, I was called nigger in the class while it was going. Intimidated and threatened by bodily harm while visiting Longview Public Library. That was repeatedly, and they tried to keep me from going in there. And when I went in there, every time I go in there, they have somebody like fucking hacking the computers, the public computers and shit now. It's just crazy. Excuse me. Threatened of being robbed at gunpoint while working at the AMPM, the one right here on Oregon Way. It's right up here. I worked right up here, right down the street from the house. Again, the house. I worked right up here, man, and I was I got a letter I'm gonna show y'all. I'm legally supposed to be tutoring over there because I got accepted through the city of Longview, and the people won't even call me to do no tutoring or nothing. They've so fucking mad I'm in town and that I'm not trouble like they was trying to make me out to be, and now they don't even let me tutor for the kids or nothing. And I've been trying to help them kids because my daughter, my stepdaughter is what I'm supposed to call her now, I guess. But she's my daughter. I raised her. Ain't no other man raised her. And I'm away from my daughter, who I've been badly trying to get back around and get to, but things have been messing up that whole process. But my daughter goes there, and I'm supposed to be tutoring there, and I can't because of the shit they got going on in the neighborhood. I was threatened of being robbed at gunpoint while working at AMPM. during graveyard shift because this isn't a very friendly, tolerant, or forgiving town for your kind. Had a canine dog let loose on me at Dibble's Point while owner walked back across the street to his house. um, and left the dog outside while I was out there. Good thing I had some food and I fed him some fucking chips and a sandwich, or else me and Canine would have been having a good time. But he, you know, what I'm saying, after that he wasn't tripping. He left me alone. Allowed to be injured in my home with in-laws' knowledge while attempting to sleep for over a year and a half. In-laws don't agree with their daughter being married to a man of African descent or of any kind of descent that's not Caucasian. Followed in which is also reason why they had their daughter uterus removed after she had two kids by Hispanic men. Just the devil, man. That's just devilish in ways, deed, and intent. Followed and pursued by up to 30 vehicles, sometimes or more at night. Night riders would run me to the shoulder of the road by the repeated use of high beam lights and high speeds, 45 plus miles per hour. I was repeatedly cut off in traffic. Had numerous guns brandished on me and are made visible in holster on hip as an intimidation tactic. This in the United States postal mail theft and mail being detained at 1839 Nichols Boulevard, the same address, same place. 1839 Nichols Boulevard, Longview, Washington, 98632. So victim had limited access to necessary and crucial resources at points of being terrorized most severely. Kept getting drugged, unbeknownst to him at the time. To keep victim in a fog and a haze, to limit his will to resist or be at optimal strength, mentally, spiritually, and physically, to mount any genuine type of defense to counter the daily attacks. Any one or all of these things have persisted in this man's life since, or my life actually, it's not this man's anymore, since September 10th, 2016. But most chilling about the entire time of the IV needle injections was that victim was consistently receiving messages in coded language that stated I was to die from overdose or something would happen to my daughter, Karma. I will say her name now, Karma Winter, of overdose. So the intent was communicated and said to be death from heroin OD. So the IV needle injections were being used to either really inject victim with illicit drugs all the time or create the image and mental subjugation, or to mentally subjugate the man using the threat of death by intravenous injection. I wrote this on July 11th, approximately at 2 p.m. Or, excuse me, somewhere around there. Actually, this might have been a little bit before then. No? Yeah? Something like that. Anyway, July 11, approximately 2 p.m., went to beach in Rainier, Dibbles to write and get my mind right, and I was driving through the rocks trying to get to the island part of the beach when it was secluded. Okay, so that right there was the date that I was told I would be shot in the head and by the woman with no teeth, and who said she worked for the sheriff's office, and that they would bury me, a dirty nigger, filthy dead, and I'd be a filthy dead nigger, and they were going to bury me where nobody could find me. So that right there, that's how and when, and that's just that's a sliver of the shit that I've been through. They also wanted me to believe that that if I went back to my family, if I told my family anything, that something was going to happen to them, or that they would try to put my family in prison because my family's been bothered by prison. You know, certain aspects and parts of my family have been bothered by law enforcement for their entire lives. You know, for whatever reason, but you know, they're no longer like that. And I had to lie to these people and tell them that I don't mess with my family because of their choices, but it's not because of that. It's because I knew they were trying to do something to my family too. So there's no way possible I was going to ever go back and let them get to my family for whatever reason, for extortion or whatever they was trying to do. And I wasn't going to do that. So I kept my family out of it. And I didn't contact my family, not because I did nothing illegal, not because I ever turned on nobody or was a rat, street term rat, but I ain't never did nothing like that. Possible. But I wasn't going to let nothing happen to my family. So I would give a fuck less about what they thought about me, but I would protect my family to death. And that's what I did. Same way I stayed around this stupid ass shit and thought I was protecting my family, but when all actuality, man, you know, it was supposed to be family or extended is the ones that pulled this shit. So don't forget, man, watch your family too, because even the ones that say your family ain't shit, catch these motherfuckers. I'm about to put that same letter up on as part of the notes, so a motherfucker can read it on their own too. All right, man. This is Puni Thou Mizan. Peace.